Is Deadlock the new Ascent meta? I know it sounds crazy, but it's been popping off in NA challenges, and now Fnatic are on the train as well, as they are too playing this comp with a Deadlock on Ascent. Now let's talk about this comp in general then. So we've got obviously the Deadlock, but we're still playing another Sentinel. We're still playing the Cypher here as well, which is what most teams are doing with this comp also. We're replacing the KO of all things. So we're playing no Flash here with the Deadlock instead. And let's see how it works. And we'll start with actually a negative, which is going to come here in round number 3. This is Fnatic's defensive bonus round. And one of the negatives of obviously dropping the KO for the Deadlock is that you are lacking in information. So there was quite a few times that you'll see things like this happen, right? And I will just say this in general is like an example of Fnatic playing pretty bad. And there was quite a few examples in this game, you know, across all the maps of Fnatic being quite bad, I thought, overall, but they did manage to just about win. But we'll see it in this round, right, where Boaster starts out here, he puts the one-way down, he starts up here, he then drifts back after he sees some pressure, so Chronicle comes back across to help him here, but then Boaster is going back over towards short, and it looks like we're going to set up a mid-trap play here, but like, what is this? I don't understand, right? So we've got Durka in the smoke, we're going for this dart in mid here, it kind of looks like Boaster is drifting across, you know, to maybe join in with this, right, and to kind of do this mid fight, like as you might expect them to. But Chronicle instead has done the exact opposite thing and has walked out here on his own, right? And this is just not very good by Fnatic whatsoever. And the thing is, though, this is the kind of thing that, you know, you are going to see more of in this comp, right? Because you are lacking a bit of that information. So you are going to go for more information peaks in general, and sometimes you're going to get picked off like this.
And any that he hasn't tried, there's probably a pretty good reason. Kushner, though, he's looking for that initial fight and see you later. It doesn't matter what utility Chronicle had online.
And that kind of thing happened quite a lot. And, you know, it's kind of half the comp, half Fnatic maybe not playing at their best. But there is one defensive setup that I thought was really, really cool, and it's this. Because this is a crazy, crazy setup. And this is an anti-KO ult. So in this round, BBL, they've got their KO ult online just here. And, I mean, just look at the map here. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. So you've got Durka here in B main, right? He's our B main defender. But if they come and do a B exec at any point with a KO ult, we've got both Cypher trips here, both Deadlock stuns, and our Cypher cam. And obviously the Deadlock and the Cypher are actually on the other side of the map. So they aren't really in any danger if it is a B hit, you know, of getting caught by the KO. All of this utility is going to go off, and it's going to cause a massive, massive problem. And actually, I think they could have, you can lean into this, obviously, pretty heavy with a Cypher Deadlock, because the, you know, util has no range on it, right? So you can really put stuff anywhere across the map. And I actually thought that, you know, this kind of gave me the idea that maybe this is something you should go for even more, right? Just to really, like, mix things up, you know, throw things off, all of that kind of stuff. And we will see in this round that BBL will end up going for this B hit. And you will see that, obviously, the delay that they're able to cause, you know, with all of the Sentinel utility, as we see BBL coming for this B split just now, you know, it allows them, basically, Fnatic to just, for Durka, you know, for these two, Hero and Durka, to be able to just hold the site on their own, right? We then get into this position where we get the Deadlock wall coming in short as well. So at this point, you know, Fnatic, they're in a pretty good spot in the round, right? Like, if we come and do an A exec just here, you know, we've got two players here, and there's no real danger of it being, you know, kind of a split here either as well. So that's good for Fnatic. You know, Chronicle can kind of come and put himself in a decent position here to watch for any kind of mid lurk going on. And if they do this B exec, now we've got two players on the site with all this Sentinel utility as well. So this KO ult is really not doing that much.
Like that knife, a lot of the dangerous close corners are cleared out by it, so that's a lot of information, and then the ult used presumably to cancel out the utility to catch Alpha or Chronicle, but neither are caught by it. This setup is perfect from Fnatic. It's whether BBL will fall for the trap, will step into these danger zones, and they've already removed one of the players who can do any damage to them. Durka's left blinded, and even as the trap catches one, he's in! The blind fades, and just like that, the round is theirs! That is unbelievable from Durka!
So yeah, really nice setup there from Fnatic. You see it all coming together essentially with the Sonic Sensor, the stun, the trips delayed them quite a lot there as well. Just a really, really good setup against a KO ult, right? But let's talk about something as well that on this defense side, you know, isn't so great. Because what can happen sometimes if you do get caught off, like Fnatic do here, right? Where we've got three players on the wrong side of the map, BBL coming for this this B split here, and they will manage to take the site. Obviously, this is where the comp can start to really struggle.
Look at this time. That's been the major problem with going into this site, is they have been running out of time on that clock. Alpha It's going to be under a bit more pressure, but already seeing
Headshot.
it seemed like Boaster was going to try and rotate, but he got denied. Had to fall back. And now Hero needs to try and get something through this smoke. Has the support of Chronicle. But the advantage is going to stick. And finally, we're going to see an afterplant on B.
Over there.
At long last. Annihilation online on the way back through. Fnatic at Boaster making his way in mid, and he's being caught, checking the wrong way. Chronicle only good for one, the numbers thinning. And Fnatic locked out by a smoke. An Operator and an Odin to work with.
So yeah, whenever you do lose the site and you end up playing for a retake, it's not going to be very easy. Even when they have the Deadlock ult online here, I mean, if you look at actually the utility that they've got, you know, I mean, they've got the Deadlock ult, they have one shock dart, they got an Omen flash, you know, they do have the jet stuff, but Durka's got an op as well, so, you know, you're always fighting uphill, pretty extreme here, you know, when it comes to this, because the comp is set up to, you know, we're playing for spike denial, you're not getting the spike down, that's what this comp is obviously meant to do, which, you know, does mean that if you do get into these positions, you know, Boaster has nothing to check, right, they don't have a lot to break some of these crossfires either, and then, you know, we end up just having to save in a 4v2, so this was a problem for Fnatic that, you know, whilst, you know, you could come up with some nice setups to maybe hold the site, if the site ever did fall, a retake probably isn't going to go in your favor without the KO. But whilst you might think that a comp with double Sentinel Deadlock Cypher is going to be very defense-sided, it was actually on the tech side that Fnatic, I think, showed a bit more in terms of some creative ideas of how to use the Deadlock.
Grab net to get them openers, but they were running it with a raise. Here they're not. That's definitely going to make things quite a bit more difficult to combine. I do like the fact they'll be able to lock stuff off for the retake, though. I think that's one of the most powerful pieces of this kit, is having that wall, the barrier mesh, to just delay anybody on the way back in.
Not only that, but sonic sensors on a plant can be so dangerous. You have to make noise to start that diffuse. That will set them off. And there's some positions you can put them in where it's a little bit more difficult to destroy them. You'll have to expose yourself to wider angles. Kushner is in a bit of trouble. That rotation is going to take a while to make its way all the way through. And while they break it, Alpha steps up behind, takes the kill. Kushner back turned, gun put away. The BBL, not quite being put away in that mid fight, but everything else going the way of Fnatic. 4 versus 2. Hero and Boaster, 20 HP, holding on by a thread. To rely on those other players to land something. It's Chronicle and Durka holding this choke point. Once Chronicle gets contact, Durka swings, and that will...
So obviously this is just a super cool idea from Fnatic to throw the wall back here to just stop any rotates. I mean, just a super cool idea, right? And obviously on a pistol round, even more effective, because there is no easy way of breaking this, right? You know that if this is a jet on another round, you know they can probably just updraft over it. It's not a big problem. But on a pistol round, you probably don't have an updraft, so you are just going to be stuck behind this, right? I mean, it's such a cool idea. Another thing that Fnatic did a lot, of course, is take mid control, which, again, with this kind of comp, are you really just going to do straight execs without a KO? Probably not, right? Like, that's not going to be a good idea a lot of the time. So you do want to come and take mid control in general, you know, kind of fake one way, go back the other, try and create some space if you need to. And that's what Fnatic did quite well, I thought, in general. But this is just a really good idea, right? And it's tough to defend this, right? And again, there is parts to this as well, and we are going to see as well a little Gravnet come in here also from Fnatic, which you see that sticks down onto the Sova just here, and you know, kind of tethers him down as well. One thing that you do need, and this did happen in this game, is, you know, in this comp on your tech side, probably your jet does need to go kind of crazy, because they're going to need to win some one-on-one fights, you know, where people aren't flashed and stuff. They're just going to need to win that fight, which Durka did in this game, which is important for this comp. But I think you can see some of these ideas, you know, all coming together, and then we don't actually see this kill on the back site, but the Sova is just basically sitting there like a sitting duck, just with a little pistol crouching down. And then obviously when you've got this wall, it's not even for that just initial rotate, but it's still up there at this point, of course, which means that at this point you kind of know, like, well, these guys are going to be coming this way, right? Which allows them to then put a one-way here on the door as well to delay them if they were there, you know, from coming in, because there's a one-way here. But it also allows them to set up into kind of a perfect crossfire here, right? Where they're playing off Chronicle's contact. And I mean, just look at this, man. Like, I mean, it's literally perfect. So we're going to wait for contact here. Durka's going to swing. Hero's going to swing. And literally no chance for BBL, because we know that they're coming from this way at this point, right? Like, because they can't be coming from this way. Just really cool. You see the Deadlock stuff coming in big, and obviously Fnatic do manage to win the round. And this was one of many different ways that we'll see them use Deadlock on this half. Okay, now let's skip ahead to round number 15. And Fnatic actually on an eco this round. A really bad one after they lost the second round after winning the pistol. But again, we're going to come for this A-split just in here using this mid ability. And this is the thing about picking weird agents, is that people aren't used to it. And so people aren't used to playing around what the agent does. And that can create you some advantages like we see here.
And he'll be presumably entering with that.
Well, he was one of the pistol players from the last round, so that's where the extra cash has gone. Not where it's expected to go, though. Already, Poor under some pressure. He's going to be made to crouch for a second or two. And he's going to go down because of it. Now it's done.
Now you see a very good example of what a surprise pick can do and how it can create advantages for you. Because here we've got Pora, who obviously is not used to taking this off. He was blind initially, but he might be worried about them, you know, pushing him the first time. Okay, maybe trying to take it out the second time is a mistake, but it's a tough situation to be in, right? Because you don't just want to sit here, but at the same time, you kind of have to sit there, right? So it's a difficult position to be put in, to be honest. And you know, now we see after they take the site, this is where the Deadlock, you know, shines again, because once they manage to get this kill here and we end up in a 3v2, just take a look at what would just happen. Because again, we've got the wall in here, right? So again, you aren't coming down this way. So you're not coming down this way, that means you're more likely to come down heaven, and now we're going to put a sonic sensor in hell, and just watch this, because I had no idea that this would work like this, but this is absolutely crazy strong.
Puts them in an advantage. Breezy, he's not going to trade it all on his own, but he'll go down because of it.
Sound sensor up.
Spike has been spotted and dropped. Both players coming in from above.
He's trying to figure out where it is. Teammate even tried to shoot the sonic sensor. There's another burst. Both of them catching up top, slowing them on the way through, and you can see the problem. If you try to jump down, you're in big, big trouble. For Fnatic, just waiting for that drop to come in. Player down below baiting with a couple of jumps. Nice shot to start it, but Dirk is able to return. Chronicle just a classic up close, 31 HP, 19 now, the reload, and he's got him!
So there you go. It's a super cool setup, right? To have the wall here, which means that these guys can't even come to destroy the door, right? So you know that they're coming from heaven. And then you've got the two sonic sensors just delaying them. You also had the camera here as well. And that is the thing. If you can get the spike down with a Deadlock, it is going to be absolutely hell to play against that, right? It's so annoying if they do get the spike down. So many of these rounds are just like automatically over. And of course, in that round, we saw them get some GravNet value. And this was something that we saw kind of across the entire attacking half. So I'm just going to show you some quick clips here of, again, the GravNet finding value for Fnatic on their attack side.
There to play with for BBL. They've put 2 and 2 together. The rotates are underway. 14 seconds, very low on time. And Elite has his cage up, spots one on the way in. Now he's caught crouching, but they still need to push into him. Do a good job of it. 6 seconds as the plant comes in. BBL have pistols for the most part. 4 sheriffs and 1 rifle. No surprise to you or me that that rifle goes into the hands of Kushner. Brave, though, is in trouble. He's able to get out of there, but he can't quite move afterwards. That's the problem. Stuck on the ground. Nice push out of Reezy. Great timing.
And then finally, let's come to the last round in the game here, round number 22. And in this one, Fnatic are going to do something that I said they wouldn't do a lot, but they do in this one. But we're going to smoke off B main, and we're going to just basically just come and do a B exec, right? And again, this is not something this comp is going to do a lot, but in this one they have both the Deadlock and the Sova ult as well, and we're going to see a cool use of the Deadlock ult here as well, as you will see in just a second. So out they come towards B main here, Fnatic, and we are just going to do this B exec. And the ult that they're going to do, you're not going to get a full clear picture of it, but it does catch someone, and it's quite cool. So I'll just show you what exactly is going to happen in a second. So you see Chronicle here, he's going to kind of line himself up with this spot, and what he's going to do is, we don't quite see it here, but he's going to bounce it off the window just here and all the way into kind of the back boathouse area to catch anyone kind of in this general vicinity, and it's going to pull them up towards the window. Now, interestingly, they can't go through the window to where the ult was shot from, so they don't actually die, I don't think. They will just kind of stay there in the air, but obviously they're a free kill as soon as they come out of the ult, pretty much, you know, assuming you can take the first part of the site here. So an interesting use of the ult here, and even though this, you know, they send in the Sova ult as well, and even though this exec doesn't go great to start with, you know, because this ult is giving them a free kill, they are able to, you know, pull ahead.
Storm if needed. He needs to quickly support these players. Hunter's Fury activated. big trouble brewing with the Annihilation as well, and it's caught one. Poor is on the way, he's flying up in the sky, but Kushner grabs a double while the squad is distracted. This could work out in their favor now. Hero locked out in towards main. Chronicle manages to catch Poor as he emerges from the cocoon. But take a look at the HP there. Shock dart onto Boaster. He's 47. Tagged low. Brave still on site to be dealt with. Reveal, though, allows the wall bang to come through. Boaster finally finished off. Reezy thinking about emerging from this smoke, and it looks like his timing could be next to perfect if he can isolate Chronicle. Instead, he's given away his position. An opportunity for the clutch. He's trapped in a corner, and Chronicle's got it!
So again, the Deadlock value here was immense. Obviously, the ult finds a kill for free, basically. We get the reveal here, and the Gravnet finds a kill as well. And then at the end here, you know, Chronicle's Sonic Sensor at the end goes off as well, which allows him to reposition in this fight versus Reezy at the end. You see a detected target just there. Reezy has to run away because he's stunned, right? So he can't get that kill just there. Chronicle repositions, finishes him off. A Deadlock wins them the round, essentially, right? So we did see quite a lot of Deadlock value here. Now, I think this is more of kind of a one-time thing type comp, really, for me. Long term, I think that there are some problems here, and, you know, people, once they figure out what Fnatic are trying to do, you know, you can figure it out that they basically can't go for just these straight execs, which, you know, does mean that you have to take mid. So if you put a heavy priority on mid, you know, it could be a struggle for Fnatic just there. So there definitely still are some problems here for Fnatic in terms of playing this comp maybe long term. But I think you can see that there's enough good stuff here for Deadlock that, you know, it is potentially a viable option.